What's going on, everybody? Blade 55555 here, and today we're going to be going over the importance of adapting in your games. It's something I've noticed, so sometimes on my stream I do free replay analysis for viewers, and I had a couple, I have a couple common people who frequently will take advantage of that. And there was one thing I noticed in all of their games, after doing it for, a few weeks or whatever, is that they didn't adapt their play. And what I mean by this is they would go, for example, two town centers into Castle Age, and that was the game plan no matter what. Their opponent could be doing a feudal all in, their opponent could be doing trade, their opponent could be taking water. It didn't matter what it was, but I noticed that they always did the same thing no matter what. So I thought, well, that's a good video idea. Let me just go over some replays and explain to you why adapting is a very important thing and something you're going to want to work on if you don't already. Now, this is not meant for like super beginners because if you're like a gold, silver level player, this advice, while might be helpful later on, right now that's probably shouldn't be your major focus. If you're platinum and above, this advice should be very good for you. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you some of my own replays where I failed to adapt because it doesn't matter how good of a player you are. Sometimes you tunnel vision. Sometimes you're just being stubborn for no reason. And I'm going to be going over showing your adapting and then showing you not adapting and why that's bad. I mean, like I said, everyone does it. And so with that, let's just get right into it. So here's a game where I actually failed to adapt, and this is a good example of what other players will do. So this matchup is me as the Ottoman Empire versus GUA's Holy Roman Empire. Now, most of the times when I play this matchup, the Holy Roman Empire goes fast castle, and so I went into this game with a plan. I was going to go fast castle, I was going to take the relics and obviously deny him from getting them, and that was the game plan. A very, because that's the normal thing that happens in this matchup. Now, I do scout units, but you're going to notice that I kind of failed to adapt, and it ends up hurting me a lot. Because you're going to see here, so I have a lot on food. I have like 5 on wood, 4 on gold. My plan, again, is to go Castle Age. And I do scout these early units, so I'm like, okay, maybe he's just going to make a couple, take care of the spears. And again, I failed to adapt to this situation. I keep making you're going to see me make it stable, which I don't normally do this early. So it's like kind of an adapting, but it's a very poor version because then I'm going back to trying to go feudal age aggression. Then I'm like, nope, we're going to go castle age because I know that's what he's going to be doing. And I didn't pick a good plan. I was all over the place, making a lot of mistakes in this. What I should have done in this game, the moment I scout these, is instead of trying to greedily go castle, I should have made my infrastructure, made units, and then gone castle. In this game, I failed to do that until, like I said, like till super late because I just wanted to get the castle age. And you're gonna notice again, I have 5 on wood, 14 food, 9 gold because I'm just trying to get there, and it's a big mistake I make, which ends up being one of the major reasons why I lose this game. And we're not gonna go over the whole thing, but we're just gonna see, due to my failure to adapt, it allowed GUA here to get to castle age a lot quicker in a much better situation than he should have been. Because this matchup in general is, I think, very tough for Ottomans. Or, sorry, for Achery. And then, so now you're going to see we're going to be finally about to go Castle Age, but we're super late to it. Our units, we barely have a head on units, and then we just end up kind of falling apart here because we just don't play very well. But this is a perfect example of something of where failure to adapt. What I should have done, like I said before, the moment I scout these buildings, I should have been pumping up my infrastructure instead of waiting till he's on my side of the map and then making infrastructure. Because it just delays everything, right? It delays my castle age, it delays my units to protect my villagers, and it gives complete control to my opponent who knows that I don't have the buildings to make units yet, so he can be greedily attacking and not worrying about retreating till the last second. That's the kind of thing when it comes to adapting, and this is a good example of failing to adapt properly. Because I had, in this game, I went into this thought process going, I'm going Castle Age. I am going to get there, and I'm going to take the relics, and I'm not going to and I'm going to use the MM Vizier point, which is the monks, to grab the relics, and it ends up backfiring because I failed to adapt due to being stubborn, despite scouting this and knowing I needed to. And so next game we're going to show, I'm going to show a game where I was planning on doing something else, but had to adapt because again, adapting to situations is very important because if you don't, you end up losing games that you wouldn't lose otherwise. All right, and here's a game where I'm going to showcase adapting what we do here a little bit. So, to paint the scenario so you just know the matchup, it's me as French, Don Artie as Holy Roman Empire, and this is going to be kind of another unorthodox game that you don't normally see in this matchup. So, normally in this matchup, French is the aggressor, HRE is the defender because they're trying to get to Castle Age. Well, in this game, Don is actually the aggressor, and I am the defender, and I have to adapt to the situation. And this is how I'm going to go with this. So normally how you would see this matchup play out, 2 TC, very normal. But then you're going to see Archer Knight and French is going to be trying to attack repeatedly. In this situation, I actually scouted that he was going Horseman Spear early, and so I end up getting an archery range ASAP instead of going for my second TC first, because that was my original plan, was to just go second TC here, then make military buildings. But I scouted my opponent with spear moving across the map. I scouted a horseman and realized, okay, I actually need to get infrastructure down now because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to get my second TC down here. I'm going to have to build it up here. But also, I could potentially take a lot of damage because he's going to deny my gold. He could potentially start denying my wood. These are the kind of things that can happen when you if you don't adapt appropriately, right? So at this point, I'm like, okay, there's 2 spears. He can't really push because my town center will defend. And we do scout this, and like I said, we scouted this, and we just see horsemen coming across the map, more spears coming across the map. And so we end up, like, our second TC, we delay it by quite a bit as I realize the situation. I see these units coming, I'm like, okay, we need to definitely get some more units out. And very shortly, we end up throwing down a barracks. Again, normal. I would love to get the second TC down first, but that is not what I should be doing, despite my desire and initial plan to do that. So we're going to fast forward a little bit, just so I can kind of showcase this. And we're staying by the town center here because we don't want horsemen to kill them. And, the town center will definitely kill here. And so you're going to see I'm still going to put my second TC down here, despite not making my racks yet. I thought I made my racks first, but I guess I made it second. And now here's why I did this, just to kind of explain to you guys that this wasn't just me doing it blindly and hoping it would work. Is I did see his units going this way. So I knew that he wasn't going to see me move my villagers out. So I was going to sneak here, get the second town center down. I'm also scouting down here with my scout and knight. When I'm going over this way, if I had scouted, let's say a horseman was sitting here or there's spears and horsemen, I would have pulled these villagers back and probably just made my second TC here, even though I want it here. So again, this is kind of another form of adapting, just differently than I thought I did this game. And so you're going to see me sneak and do this. I'm scouting here. Okay, great. I don't see any enemy units. This is fantastic. I did see these go this way, I think. So I know that I'm good there. And then we do scout some units coming across. Now, when I was in this game, I was actually going to cancel this TC and just make it somewhere else. But the reason why I don't is because I was able to distract the units to follow my knight and scout. And I realized, okay, never mind. I can finish this town center here and not have to worry about losing villagers. Again, very important stuff to kind of realize, because if he had ignored the knight and scout like I thought he was going to, I was going to cancel this and I was going to just have to make it back here. Not the ideal situation you want to go through, but you got to do, like I said, you got to change, you got to do what you got to do. So we get our second TC down and we're going to add in a barracks. Now, in most French versus HRE matchups, you do not see French players making spears because they want to stick to Archer Knight. Archer Knight, when in a good composition, does actually do very well versus Horseman Spear because you can just one-shot the spears and then your Knights take care of just, slaughter the Horsemen. But I knew I didn't have the resources to make a ton of knights because I went for the second TC. I also knew he was making a bunch of units, so it's not like he's just making like 5 units or anything. I mean, he has 22 units on the field, and so I knew I needed to get spearmen out. Otherwise, his archer or his horseman spear harass is going to kill my army, and it was going to take out my base. Then he's going to be able to deny my wood or completely deny my gold. Just deny me resources that I desperately need. And so we do see he just kind of does some harassment here. He's killed 2 villagers this game. Not a big deal. We're French. We have 2 town centers. There's a lot worse situations to go on. But you're going to see we're starting to make spearmen. And I realize, hey, I just need to defend this attack. Defend this, and then I can go, then we'll be fine. And again, we're not going to go through this whole replay. I just want to showcase the adaptability or adaptability, whatever. And as you can see, we're adding more archery ranges because we're going to go archer spear because we've noticed the unit composition here. For those who don't know, if you ever face an opponent who's going mass horseman spear, if you just go archer spear, it hard counters the composition. Now, I am going to say, obviously, 4 spears is not enough to kill 14 spears and 14 horsemen, which we're going to find out here just momentarily. And this is just me failing to scout at the appropriate time. Luckily, we're still able to kind of get back. And this is kind of when I truly realized how committed to this aggression that Dawn was. And so I end up throwing down a second barracks because I need spears. Archers, I almost have enough archers to one-shot spears, but I need something to protect my archers from the horsemen. And that's why we throw down another archery range or another spear barracks, sorry, and we just start pumping out the spears because the more spears we have, I know we're going to be able to hold this off. And then from here, we're not going to go over much, we're not going to go anything else. The rest of this game, if you're just curious, you can watch it on my stream. It's in my profile if you want to watch it, at least as of posting this video. It might be gone in a couple days. The way this plays out, he doesn't have the food to really utilize his Burgrave. I have knights and archers, and I end up going castle age, getting crossbows, and by the time he can start attacking, I'm castle age with crossbows and upgraded knights. I hold the aggression, take map control, and just kind of win. But there's not really much adaptability there because that's kind of just what I did. So that's just what I wanted to show you guys. Hopefully, you guys, hopefully this helps you learn something. And again, it's just very, very important to adapt your play. I don't want this video to go too long, so we're going to cut this section here. And really, that's about it. When it comes to adapting, those are just the kind of things you need to do. No matter how married you are to an idea, you need to be able to adapt. If you want to go 2 town centers, that's fine, but sometimes you're going to have to accept you can't do it. For example, if you're playing as English against Delhi, 2 town centers isn't very good against Delhi at the pro level, of course. But and just giving you an example, you just got to be able to adapt to the situation. Like on a water map, you can't just skip water. You're hurting your economy, and you're actually, if your opponent is using water and they know how to spend their resources, you're just going to die if you skip water because you don't have the economy to catch up. Because think about it like this for water maps specifically. A dock is a town center in the Dark Age. You're getting a second town center for 150 wood, and you're getting a food boost because of the fish. That's just an example I'm giving because that's one of the most common things I see players refuse to do is they'll, even platinum and diamond players, I'll see them tell me to go over a replay. They play a water map, they don't go water, their opponent does, and then they just kind of die because their opponent has the resource advantage by quite a bit because of that water. So my number one tip for you guys when it comes to adapting is to actually do it. If you see your opponent doing something and you want to go castle age, but let's say he's gonna do a feudal all-in, and you see he has like 3 archery ranges, 2 barracks, and you have nothing because you're trying to go castle age, you need to cancel that pretty much. Now, if you're Holy Roman Empire, you could fast castle and go Burgrave if you wanted to defend that way. That is an option. But my point is, you need to adapt to what your opponent's doing, right? Because if you go fast castle against a feudal all-in, and then he denies your gold, and you get to castle age with no gold, then castle age serves you no purpose because you can't utilize the castle age advantage due to the no gold. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys out. The audio issues should be fixed in this video. I did make sure before uploading this, but if there is any that I somehow missed, please let me know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the guide, and I will see you in the next one.